On behalf, my name's Nat Riddick, for the people who don't know me. On behalf of Chester, Deloach, and myself, and the team members that are here tonight, we want to welcome you and we want to thank you for coming out and spending some time with us. I know you got plenty of options, and we appreciate you coming. This is right at dinner time, so I know people might be getting a little bit hungry. I think in the bag there's some goodies, I believe. So feel free to snack on them if someone starts growling, helps there. We're going to have the teams have put together a very good meeting tonight. We hope you get a lot out of it. We're going to have a question and answer section at the end of the meeting. So if you would, hold your question till then. There's papers, I think, on everybody's seat. You can write your questions, answer, you maybe won't forget them. And I'm not sure about the pen situation, but anyway, somebody will get you a pen if you need one.
All in the bag.
All in the pens are in the bag. We got a few people coming in. I'm going to wait till they come in. And thank goodness the rain parted for a little while. I think that's about it right now. I'm gonna give an invitation, and we're gonna get started. So we won't hold everybody up so late this evening. There's people coming in, so we'll let them come on in. For those coming in, excuse me, I'm supposed to be talking in the mic. I'm sorry. I'm not used to doing this, but anyway. For those who are just coming in, there's some sheets of papers on your seats. If you want to write your questions down, we'll have a question and answer session at the end of the meeting. Am I loud and clear on the video back there? Let this young lady get seated. We'll have an invocation. We'll get started. If you would, please bow with me. Heavenly Father, as always, we welcome you to our meetings and give our blessings and give our thanks for your many blessings. We give thanks for this opportunity to gather here this evening, and we ask for traveling mercies at the conclusion of the meeting tonight. We acknowledge these blessings and ask these blessings in the name of your Son, Jesus Christ. Amen. Amen. And I'm going to turn the meeting over to Mr. Curtis Wynn. He's going to get things going for us.
All right, thank you, Mr. Riddick. Good evening.
Good evening.
How y'all doing? Good, good. I am, as Mr. Riddick said, I'm Curtis Wynn. I want to just get things kicked off tonight and introduce my teammates who are going to be sharing the podium with me tonight to give our presentation tonight. What does the screen say tonight? What's that at the bottom? Who are the member owners? You all are. That's right. It's all about you. We're happy to bring this program to you tonight. This is probably about the 10th year we've done this, and we're excited about bringing you some good information about what your co-op is doing, what the team of employees at Roanoke Electric are doing on your behalf to hopefully make things better for you as member owners. So I'm going to once again reiterate, you do have those bags. And inside of the bag, you should have a pen and a little piece of paper. Because we're streaming this on the internet for people who didn't come out tonight, we're going to go ahead and go through the whole presentation tonight. So as we go through the presentation, if something comes up in your mind that you want to ask a question about, please jot it down on that piece of paper. And we will have a question and answer session at the very end, as Mr. Riddick said. I do want to remind you, if you have specific things you want to know about your personal electric bill or something related personally to your electric service, we have folks out in the lobby that will be happy to have a one-on-one session with you. We try not to get into those type of questions in the Straight Talk forum. We want to make sure you keep that privacy to yourself, and we respect that. So what are we going to talk about tonight? Just as an overview, the first person you're going to hear from tonight is Jimmy Liverman. He's our manager of operations. He's going to come with a safety message. And after that, our vice president of accounting, is going to come and talk to you about some of the financial matters of the cooperative as it relates to that. And then I will follow her to talk about some cost savings, things that we're doing to help keep your rates stable and keep your costs down. After me will be Susan Tan, who's the Vice President of Member Services. She's going to come and talk about our marquee project that we're working on right now, Roanoke Connect, and give us a status update on that. She's going to be followed by Patrice Jordan, our coordinator of public relations. Patrice is going to do a call to action for you, give you some things that you can specifically do to help us serve you better. And then, of course, we'll wrap it up with some question and answers from you, and at the very end we'll have some door prizes, and we're going to send you home with dinner tonight. You don't have to cook. If you are going home to your spouses, just take them dinner with you. Okay? Take them some dinner. How about that? Dinner and door prize. All right. Can't beat that. Okay. So Jimmy, come on up. We're going to go ahead and get started with the safety message. We always like to start out with a safety message. Here you go.
All right, thank you. As Mr. Wynn says, every meeting that we do, we always start out with a safety message and really try to stress safety, especially in the work we in. First couple of things I would like to say, if in the case of an emergency, we have an exit straight out that door. Don't worry about going back that way, but it's the quickest exit that way and right here. And if needed bathroom's right out that door to the left. That could be an emergency too. The safety messages that I got, we want to talk about public accidents involving power lines. You know, that could be being involved in a car wreck, could be farm machinery getting tangled up, especially cotton pickers getting tangled up in the lines and becoming energized, construction equipment. The main thing that we want to stress is that if you're involved in one of these, do not get out of the car or the vehicle you're in unless you have to. That would be if it's on fire. Reason being, because the power lines could be on top of your car energized. You're protected as long as you're in it. The short video we're going to watch will actually explain, you'll be able to see, like if you would go up and touch it, if it was energized, how the electricity travels through your body to the ground. Of course, it's not going to be a good outcome for you. All right, we got that. We got what we call step potential. So I don't want to get too technical with you, but if you can just imagine throwing a rock in a pond and the ripple effect. Well, that's what a power line does when it's on the ground on your vehicle. It's bleeding off voltage. The further out it gets, the less voltage it is. They're going to show you a couple of techniques on here called the bunny hop and the shuffle. What it's trying to do is keep you at the same potential so that you don't get your feet too wide. You get one voltage here, one voltage here. That voltage is going to travel through you. As long as you keep your feet together, doing the bunny hop or either the shuffle, you're going to be in good shape. But anyway, that's just a little bit, and it'll explain to you in the video.
You contact a power line with your vehicle, call for help, stay where you are, and keep others at least 10 meters away from the vehicle. In the event of a contact, it is not just a vehicle, equipment, or object that could be energized. Everything within a 10-meter radius of the contact could also be energized. That's why you have to be aware of both step and touch potential. With step potential, electricity spreads, like ripples or rings, over the surface of the ground, away from the point of contact. Each ring carries a different voltage. If you step into one ring while your foot is in another, the electricity will make up the difference in voltage through your body. With touch potential, if someone on the ground touches what is in contact with the power line, electricity will travel through that person's body to get to the ground. If you hit a power line, you can try to break the vehicle free of the contact, but only if it doesn't cause more risk to yourself or others or more serious damage to the power line. If you can safely brake from the contact, move the vehicle or equipment at least 10 meters away to safety. If you must exit the vehicle, only in the case of a fire, jump away from the equipment with 2 feet together, then bunny hop or shuffle at least 10 meters away from the equipment. Don't take large steps. as there is the potential for electrical current traveling through your body. If you're not sure you're far enough away, slowly move your feet apart. If you feel a tingling sensation in your legs, you are still within the step potential zone and must continue to bunny hop or shuffle away.
But do you see what I'm talking about? They talked about the ripple effect. They talk about the bunny hop and all that. You know, it's one thing about it. We can replace a pole. We can't replace you. So hope you got something out of this, and or can help protect somebody else and spread the word. Thank you. All right, Kim. There you go.
Good evening, everyone. I wanted to kick things off tonight by presenting the very document that leads to the work our team executes each day to produce breakout results in living up to our mission to provide safe, reliable, and affordable electricity while enhancing the quality of life in the diverse communities that we serve. This is our strategy map that has been front and center for our team for the past 4 years. It indicates what success looks like to us while monitoring your level of satisfaction, perception that we have a reliable system, and acknowledging there is value in each dollar you spend. We also measure our ability to engage you to respond to different asks we may put in front of you periodically. The orange area represents our goal of low cost to you. As we survey many of you, we realize this is an area that is high on your radar. In supporting this goal, there are 2 objectives I'd like to highlight: grid optimization and reduce controllable cost. Our grid optimization objective is to connect to devices that we can issue to each of you to avoid higher energy costs. You'll hear more about these devices later in the presentation. Our reduce controllable costs objective is to reduce costs in areas without reducing the value or quality of our services rendered to you. Since our message is about cost right now, it's only fitting that we share where every dollar you spend currently goes. 58 cents of every dollar you spend goes directly toward what we call Roanoke Electric's power bill. Just like you have one to pay to Roanoke Electric Cooperative, Roanoke Electric has one to pay to our wholesale supplier. We do not own any generating facilities, so our means to deliver electricity to you is through wholesale power contracts. This is the largest piece of the pie, as you see here, and finding better ways to manage it puts us in the best position to manage affordability when it comes to your electric bill. We're at a period where it is time for us to review all costs that it takes to operate the business. With this in mind, we are undergoing a cost of service study to ensure that our current rates are at a level that supports our current and future needs to serve you. Believe it or not, it has been 5.5 years since we have implemented an increase in our rates. I know some of you would beg to differ after receiving some of the bills that came through this past winter, but that is the case. During the past 5.5 years, we did see some benefits in wholesale power costs being lower than expected when we applied the current rate schedule, and we were able to issue wholesale power cost credits during that time. During the latter part of 2015 and most of 2016, we reduced our rates by 8% because of this. We haven't completed the full study. However, we are aware of some rising wholesale power costs starting to be passed on to us this year. Therefore, early indications in the study are showing that we'll need to incorporate an increase in the very near future. Although rates for electricity are showing to be on the rise, they do rise at a slower pace than many of your typical expenses. This graph shows on average how much expenses increased for the last 5 years for education, rent, medical care, and electricity. And each of these items increase costs at rates 3 times that of electricity. Now I want to show you a video of the biggest driver for Roanoke Electric Cooperative's wholesale power cost increase.
Flowing more than 200 miles through North Carolina and Virginia, the Dan River is a beautiful passage. But east of the town of Eden, above the twists and turns of the river, sit the smokestacks of a retired coal plant and its ash ponds that would end up tainting much more than just the water. Eden Mayor Wayne Tuggle says for his town, it was a catastrophe.
We're going to have this dubious distinction to have the third largest coal ash spill in the United States. And that's not the distinction that you want.
So this is the Dan River Steam Station. It's been retired for a couple of years, but you can see they literally built it right on the river so they can use that water to generate the electricity. And right on the other side of this dam are those coal ash ponds.
On February 2nd, a Duke Energy pipe collapsed, gushing tens of thousands of tons of coal ash into the river. Duke Energy crews immediately started working to push back the leftover ash from the pond, but it took nearly a week to stop the spill.
Now this is it, the 48-inch pipe that collapsed, spewing 35 million gallons of coal ash directly into the Dan River. You can see it's all been bricked up now, but it runs directly underneath Duke Energy's coal ash pond, and it's one of several pipes that we pulled inspection reports on and found dating back all the way to 2006. Inspectors warned Duke Energy to keep an eye on.
This is one of those reports obtained by WNCN Investigates telling Duke to check the outfall. Inspectors recommended using a camera to look inside, which may have shown them something like this. Leaks coming from a second pipe nearly 2 weeks later under the same ash pond. State regulators told Duke to immediately address the issue, but even with these pipes sealed, the power company's problems were far from over. Jonathan Rodriguez, WNCN News.
There are probably two questions that most of you have right now, and I'm guessing they are the following. What is coal ash, and what does it have to do with me? Coal ash is a toxic byproduct of burning coal for power. Depending on where the coal was mined, it can contain some heavy metals that can be dangerous for humans if eaten or drank. As the video shows, one of Duke Energy's coal ash ponds, which is supposed to contain the waste, eventually spilled into the Dan River from a collapsed pipe. This type of spill in 2014 was actually the second time something like this happened. The first was in 2008. Duke has been assessed fines and paid for costs associated with cleaning up the polluted areas. A few years ago, the state of North Carolina passed a law known as the Coal Ash Management Act, and Duke was permitted to pass on some of the newer costs to comply with making sure this doesn't happen again to ratepayers throughout the country, including North Carolina. What does this have to do with you? Duke Energy sells a portion of the power purchased by our wholesale supplier, North Carolina Electric Membership Corporation, and some of it comes from coal-fired plants. Ultimately, this passes through as an increase in our wholesale power rate that amounts to roughly 10 to 15%. Given this, you can be assured that your team here at Roanoke Electric is working to minimize costs, although there are increases to our rates. You'll be hearing more about technologies we are incorporating to characterize this.
Thank you, Kim. As you can see, Kim just described an occurrence of something that happened that was completely out of Roanoke Electric's control, but it really becomes a burden to our member owners, and we're having to pass that burden on to the member owners. So with that being said, I want to move to something that we can control and what we're doing to control costs, and this is our response that myself and the next two presenters will discuss with you. My portion of this is about addressing future rate pressures due to slow and no growth in our region. We don't have a lot of people moving into the region. Actually, we have probably more people moving out of the region than we do moving into the region. And that causes us to have to spread our cost over fewer people, which really causes more of a problem than it does good. And then because of some of the measures that we've been taking to help reduce the impact of you and your representative homes or respective homes, we have really been declining our sales. Some of it is due to weather. We've had mild weather up until this year. This year was totally different. We had a lot of cold weather, and that has caused our sales to decline. So these are some of the facts that we've dealt with. Kim showed you this graph, and I'm going to show it to you from a whole different perspective. This is a graph demonstrating how the dollars that you pay Roanoke Electric are spent. But inside of that big piece of the pie, I want to show you some things that we're doing to help reduce costs. And these are some of the programs that I'm going to get into a little bit more detail about in just a few minutes. But these are programs that we put in place to help reduce costs to you as member owners. And what's driving a lot of this is what my colleague Susan Tan is going to talk about, is a project called Roanoke Connect. And that is our communications infrastructure that is needed to make some of these other programs work. So let's get started. How many of you have heard of Upgrade to Save? How many are participating in Upgrade to Save? Ms. Hazel, I know you are. I'm going to get you to talk about it in just a few minutes. Upgrade to Save is a very high, what we consider a very high impact energy efficiency program. And with that, basically what has happened is through our board of directors, we have secured up to $6 million that we are investing into the homes of member owners across our system. And that investment is designed to help lower your electric bill. And it's also designed to keep you from member owners from having to go out and borrow money to do measures inside of their homes to help lower their bills. And that has been a very successful program. It has taken that burden off of the member owners, and the cooperative is taking the risk. We're managing projects that are done inside of the home, as you see in this picture. Essentially, we'll go out to the home and do a very detailed assessment to figure out where you may be losing electricity, and we'll also work with contractors to come behind us and fix those issues that may be causing you to lose electricity without you ever having to come out of your pockets for a dime of money. We're doing that upfront investment. By way of us doing that and helping you save energy, you are obligated to repay us by way of a bill tariff that is placed on your bill, but we won't do the measure unless that bill tariff is much less than the savings that we'll produce for you. So out of the gate, you're going to not have to spend money. You're going to see an immediate savings on your electric bill. To date, we've done almost 500 assessments. Out of those 500 assessments, we've done almost 300 retrofits and upgrades to member owners' homes. And of that 285, we put brand new HVAC, heating and cooling units, into the homes of over 250 homes of our member owners. The average investment that we're making on behalf of our members is about $7,400. And as you can see the numbers, the average tariff that we're putting on the bill is about $68, but the savings are equating to about $85. So we would say that is a successful program, and we're planning to move on and do more of those. So don't take my word for this. I want you to hear from one of your fellow member owners of Roanoke Electric. Ms. Hazel, do you want to come up and have a few words, say a few words about your experience with this program?
I do the best I can. I'm not a public speaker, but anyway, I was telling Patrice, good evening, everybody. Good evening. I was telling Patrice, I called her and I told her about my savings. She said, well, you need to tell them at the, what's that, at a group like this. I said, oh, I don't have no problem telling them that, you know, we had a cold snap that he was just talking about. And I heard so many people were talking about they had their bill was about $500-600 and all that. I got a bill for $216, and I was just overwhelmed because I had a new system put in, air condition and a heat pump, heat wires or something. Yeah, heat pump, something anyway. But it was to my good, I tell you, and all that, and they did whatever they did, the caulking and all that stuff where we're losing the electricity. They did all of that, and with the paying for the everything was did up front. I have never come out my pocket with anything yet so far. And with the new air condition, they came in, they had the numbers and stuff, and the guy told me, he said, you got very good numbers, and the house is really tight, and you know, my house is now is 25 years old, but I tell you, I saved over $100 and some a month, every month, since I got this new air conditioning heat pump and stuff in. It's just a big savings, and I wouldn't take nothing for Roanoke Electric to be my company. I'm proud and happy, but before, I'm telling you, before, every month, I had a high light bill. I'm like, oh my God. But anyway, when I got this, and I forgot to say, when I got the air conditioning, I was supposed to be paying $80 or $80 something like that per month. When I got my bill, it was $54 and some change. And I called the company. I said, this is what it's going to be every month? They said, yes, that's what it's going to be. With that $216, my $55 was included in that. I never had a light bill that low since I've been here 25 years. I never had a light bill that low. And I just recommend that whatever they offering, they're not coming out your pocket, you need to invest and get it. I'm telling you, and this not a gimmick. Ain't nobody's gonna pay me not one dime to say this. But anyway, if you know, and the thermostat, the little gadget on your hot water heater, it turns it down so your hot water won't stay hot all the time. You know, want them to keep running and stuff like that. Patrice had told me, this was years back, Miss Hazel, unplug your toaster. Unplug. And that stuff works. You unplug stuff that you're not using. My 2 extra bedrooms, my dining room, the stuff I don't even use no more. You know, nobody home but my husband and me. Unplug them lamps. Unplug all that stuff that you're not using. Them toasters, them whatever that's on the counter. Coffee pots that you don't use. You don't got your cup of coffee in the morning, unplug it. Because it's still burning current. You know, so you need to unplug that stuff and help yourself save some money, because I get to go to Belts a little bit often now.
She sounds like a public speaker to me. She mentioned Ms. Hazel Downing. Thank you so much for sharing that. She mentioned the thermostats and the water heater controls. That's what I want to talk about next, is that these are other opportunities. And again, just like with the other things I mentioned to you, we're providing these to you at no upfront cost. No upfront cost, so that you can lower your utility bill. And there's a method to our madness. When we do this for you, it helps us reduce that 58% number. So that's why we do it, and we're very intentional about doing as much of that as we can. When you look at the just riding around the community, you look at our overall system. We're doing things along our system to help the utility save money. It may not have an impact on you inside of your home, but if we're able to save money by preventing people from stealing electricity, selling less electricity than we buy, we're putting devices on our system that will help us automate and become more efficient as an electric co-op. And those are things such as the automated metering systems and the smart grid deployment, which is really stuff that you may not see specifically, but we're doing those things, making those investments so that we can save dollars on our power bill, which is translates to savings for you. What's coming next? What's new? I'm going to transition now. George Stamper is going to come up after me and talk about utility scale, utility solar and battery deployment, which is things we're getting ready to do. And then Patrice is going to talk some about increased member involvement, how you can become a part of all of these things that we're doing. But everything we're doing is really to look to the future and level our costs out so that we don't have to come to you with messages like the one Kim just had to talk to you about with increasing costs, even though that one was out of our control. Everything within our control, we're getting our arms around it, making sure we make investments that are going to make good sense for you. So in summary, yes, we're in a slow growth, but we're attacking that by doing things to our system and doing things for you that will help you save dollars. And we do have a plan for the future to continue keeping our costs down and making your electricity affordable. So let me turn it over at this point now, not to George, but to Susan, right? Okay. All right, Susan.
Good evening, and thank you so much for joining us. I have the awesome pleasure of discussing with you tonight the Roanoke Connect project, which is our broadband internet project coming to a home near you very, very soon, I promise, okay? So this is our Crowd Fiber website, and if you will, please go to roanoke.crowdfiber.com often and check for updates, because this is our Roanoke Connect site temporarily, where we are still trying to generate interest and also share with you where those zones will be. As a sample, this is our entire territory. Everything that's in orange is the service territory for Roanoke Electric. So if you have electric service with Roanoke Electric, you will have internet service, but it's going to take at least 2 to 3 years. This is a very tedious project. There's a lot of work that's going on behind the scenes. You may have seen some of our partners out in the area digging lines. You may have seen DataWatt. You may have seen some of our trucks. So there's a lot of work that has to go into this project. You can also see that there's like green segments on this map. And each of those little green segments are what we call zones or segments. And in those areas are different locations where we're going to be connecting member owners first. And if you also notice that there is construction that's going to happen in all 5 of our counties, because just like you have children and grandchildren, you cannot pick your favorite. So Northampton, Bertie, Halifax, Gates, and Hertford, thank you, are all going to see construction at the same time. So here I have blown up the map a little bit more for you. In segment 4, that's in Halifax. And so there's going to be construction there as well. And that one will probably be, I would say, the very, very first of the construction. And the reason for that is because we have connected all of our substations with fiber. And we've talked about last year the fiber ring that's going to connect all of our substations. So with that, we had to find areas that were close to the substation. So we had to begin somewhere. So if you are near one of the substations, guess what? You're even luckier, because then that puts you higher on the list to get connected. So this is segment 22, and I just want to show you an example. When we talk about segments and areas, this covers Pine Lane, J.T. Hall Road, and St. John Millennium Road. So when we give you road names, that does not mean that it's going to be the entire road. For example, here 258 or Highway 308, 308 runs all the way from Rich Square way to Windsor. So if you see Highway 308, it's not going to be continuous, that whole segment. There's going to be bits and pieces of where we're going to be able to connect. And I'm going to show you the reason for that in just a moment. These are what we call one-off installations, and this is a sample of Mount Olive Church Road, which again is also 308. And so in that area, there might be a huge clearing where there are no trees. Now, we love trees, but because of the way that this system is built, there's a fiber connection, but then we're also going to use antennas to have point-to-point connection to your home. So if you have a large tree in the front of your home, that might be why you see up there that it's a one-off installation. Now, that does not mean that you cannot have service. What that means is that we have to find another way to service you. So don't get disappointed if you see that. And we also have the books in the lobby if you want to check out the segments. I believe it's segment 1 through 22. And so you can go through the book and kind of look and see if your road is in that segment, or you can go back to the website. Next, you may have seen this gentleman right here, Mr. Dan Smith. He is our sales and high impact services gentleman. He is in the back of the room, but he's also set up at the front table. And so if you have any questions for Dan, he is here to serve you tonight. And if you would like assistance downloading our mobile app, he'll be more than happy to do that with you as well. So Dan is actually going door to door through the service territory to make sure that everybody's aware of all the services that they can have once they have the internet. So as you can see, the triple savings, which I'm going to go into a little bit more detail, bank draft, e-bill, and if you sign up for e-bill tonight, you get a free gift, so please make sure you see the ladies up front. Usage alerts, budget billing, upgrade to save, and again, the mobile app. So Dan is out making sure that everyone is signed up for the internet service, but then letting you know of all the benefits that you can get. And some of these you can get prior to the installation of the internet service. Next, we have these two gentlemen, Mr. Tremaine Archer and Mr. Jesse Johnson. They are our installation technicians, and they're also here with us tonight. So if you have any questions for them, please feel free to stop by and see them in the lobby as well. And they have actually installed some equipment over on Highway 305. Now, those folks do not have connection, but they were kind enough to allow them into the home to actually install the equipment so they can get some practice, because they're new to our cooperative family as well. So they're learning, and they did a great job. So now they're waiting for us that connection. They'll be good to go. Next, let's see, we have our social media. Again, Mr. Wynn mentioned earlier about Facebook, and we've mentioned to you all of the other messages that we try to communicate to you, and that is through Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and even LinkedIn. We are still hiring, and with this project growing, we may be hiring in the future as well. So please make sure that you come back to our website, follow us on social media, and then make sure you also share with us through those cards that are in your chairs, your contact information, and your email address, because we also have an e-newsletter that goes out twice a month, and that's another area where you can get information on the Roanoke Connect project, as well as all of the other great projects that we have for you. And this is another sample of one of our Facebook posts. And it looks like over 2,500 people were reached when we posted this about the Roanoke Connect project. So this is, again, where we try to engage you all and try to ask for your help. If you're here tonight and you've gotten the information, please go back and share it with your friends and your neighbors, but also encourage them to come to another Straight Talk forum. Because, again, going back to Kim's presentation, we try to keep our costs very low, and there's more of you all than there are of us. So whenever we post something and the phones explode on our end, it can be very overwhelming, but we're doing our best to answer all of your questions. And again, if you go to the website or the Crowd Fiber site, you can find more information there as well. So please make sure that you share all the information that you learned tonight with someone else. Now, triple savings. How many of you have already signed up for triple savings? Ooh, just a few. Well, this is a hot night tonight. So let me explain to you triple savings. Dan, you haven't been to their homes, have you? No, because they didn't sign up, Dan. So with our triple savings offer, you get the free ecobee 3 thermostat with free installation. As Ms. Hazel mentioned, you get the free hot water device, again with free installation. And then you also get the internet at a discounted rate of $39.99 for the first 6 months. So at this time, I would like to take a pause of about 5 minutes and give you all an opportunity to sign up for the triple savings, because this program or this discount will end at our annual meeting at 11:59 p.m. to be exact. So if you have not signed up for triple savings, we're going to take just a quick 5-minute break so that you can go ahead and sign up. All right, we're going to continue our meeting, and we only have 2 more speakers for you, because we know that everyone's attention span is not like it used to be. Anything over an hour, you've lost somebody's attention, and I include myself in that message. So again, please make sure that you stop by and see our team in the lobby before you go. And again, if you have any questions, we're here to serve you. If you have any questions about your individual account, we're here to serve you. We have plenty of folks in the lobby ready to assist you. So at this time, I'm going to turn it over to Patrice Jordan, and she's going to discuss the Roanoke SunShare program with you all. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Susan. Good evening, everyone. Have you all enjoyed the information that we have given to you thus far? Great, great. I'm here to talk about our community solar garden. And I know we have questions about community solar, another form of clean and renewable energy. What is community solar? Community solar is a community-based method that allows you, the individual, to own solar energy. As you can see in this picture here, your very own cooperative have a community solar garden. How many have been past our headquarters and seen it? Great. How many would want to purchase a solar panel? Well, here at the Community Solar Garden, we have 360 panels. 20 member owners collectively own 60 of those panels. And you can purchase a solar panel for $408 per panel to receive a credit of $2.15 on your bill each month for the next 17 years. But to top that off, your cooperative is proud to announce that we have just launched a new solar energy program, and we need your participation with that. That program was created to help those member owners that are struggling to pay their electric bills. You can make a one-time donation, or you can purchase a block of 10 panels at $20 a month added to your bill to support another member owner receiving a credit of $21.60 on their electric bill each month. So to participate in that program, as I stated, definitely to help our member owners that are struggling. But of course, you do have the opportunity to purchase a panel yourself, receiving that credit. Right now, the cooperative, we are receiving donations, and it's coming from the employees, other local organizations, and of course, we do have some member owners that are participating in this program as well. So for more information on the solar energy program, please stop by our table before you leave. And also, before I take my seat and talking about community solar, I definitely want to leave everyone with this thought as far as, participating in this program. Think about the member owners that are struggling to pay their electric bills. And also think about you have the opportunity to change the lives of others by joining this program. Thank you.
Hello, everyone. I'm George Stamper. I'm head of engineering at your co-op, and I'm I have a new nickname. Being an engineer, I don't usually show a lot of excitement, so I tell people I'm excited. And so now they're calling me Mr. Excitement because I tell people that. So I am excited about what I want to mention to you. Again, it's about solar, and many of you have seen all the big solar fields being built around our area. Very large, some of them taking up hundreds of acres of land. So you may be asking yourself, how does that impact you? Well, right now, very little, because that's going to companies like Duke and Dominion. They own those. So as a co-op, we, as Mr. Wynn has said, we're trying to find ways to reduce our costs. And so the thing that I'm excited about is we've started working with a couple of organizations to help us get into the solar business. And not only are we looking at solar, we're looking at the battery storage. So the combination of solar and batteries will enable us to have a bigger impact on our costs. So we have a project that I'm working on right now. There's a pilot project that we're getting ready to launch, and we're going to construct a solar field with batteries, in a location that's going to connect to our lines and give us the benefit of the solar. It's going to do a couple things. One is it's going to be a lower cost energy producer for us. It's going to allow us to impact our peak demand. The peak power costs us a lot more than the power like at 2 o'clock in the morning when everybody's asleep. So what we're trying to do is reduce that peak. And each time as much as we can reduce that, that drives our cost down. So the batteries enable us to be able to do that, take advantage of the sun when it's shining to charge the batteries and discharge the batteries at the time that we're hitting those peaks. So it gives us the opportunity to control the use of the solar. If you don't have the batteries, when the sun's shining, the power is being produced, but it may not be during the time that we are experiencing our peak. So if the pilot project goes well, we'll develop more of these and place them throughout our system, different locations, so that it gives us that benefit. One of the other things too is, and I don't want to get too technical, but if we place it in our system at strategic locations, it will help drive down the loss of power that you have in transporting power through the lines. So it gives us the advantage of using the power at the time of our peak, and it also helps us reduce our line losses. So I'm really excited, as I said, about this project. We've got a lot of projects, the Roanoke Connect, the distribution automation, the new AMI project. All these things are focused on improving our service to you and trying every method that we can come up with to drive our costs down. It's very critical for us to do that. We serve you, and we want to do it in a way that is the best possible way with the technologies that are available. And with that, I believe we move into the door prize. Oh, excuse me, question and answer. You got to do the question and answer first. And I'll turn this over to Mr. Wynn.
All right, thank you, George. So we are at that point where we can take some questions from you. Hopefully you've had a chance to think of a few while we've gone through the presentation tonight.